Yes, good evening, everybody. Charles J. Brudy, architect, 30 Bethesda Lane, Salem, New York, 11782, representing the property owner. As stated in the call, homeowner seeks permission to establish a two-family use in her house on 8 Cobblestone Court in Ronkonkoma for her 85-year-old mother, who is currently in a nursing home, and they want to move her to the residence.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. I'll make a motion to grant the application for 30 days.
Okay, sure.
Second.
Okay, sure, shut down.
Thank you. Have a good night.
One-story addition using side yard of 17.7 feet instead of required 18 feet.
I'm not loud enough? Oh, talk to my wife, please. And total side yards of 35.5 feet instead of the required 36 feet. Residence AA 278 Cluster District, south side of Placid Court, number 6, 73.73 feet west of Coates Avenue, Holbrook, New York. Sir, your name and address for the record, please.
Michael S. Fogarty, 6 Placid Court, Holbrook, New York, 11741.
Okay, you're here for some very de minimis relief. Does anyone on the board have any questions? Hearing none, anyone in the audience wish to be heard? There being no one, Mr. Nicolia, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to grant the application.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Application granted. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Next application, number 479-22. Carissa Walsh, permission to leave pool deck 3 feet high with ramp having rear yard of 4 feet instead of the required 10 feet, and to leave a 6-foot fence on second front property line, not having required setback of 10 feet, Residence A District, south side of Peconic Street, number 828, 100 feet west of Locust Avenue through lot to Locust Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York. Ma'am, your name and address for the record, please.
Carissa Walsh, 828 Peconic Street, Ronkonkoma, New York, 11779.
Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to tell us about your application?
I don't know, what are we doing?
Okay, that's fine. Anyone on the board have any questions? There being no questions, does any, okay, see, I wasn't gonna forget you, sir. All right, ma'am, if you could just let this gentleman have the podium for a minute. Thank you so much. Sir, again, your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Board. Stanley Wilk, 2242 Locust Avenue, Ronkonkoma. WYLK.
All right,
Yes, I'm the neighbor that abuts the rear of their property that's in,
okay, we're gonna try to get that up on the screen. Look at that, magic. Okay, so come, if you
and
could,
I just have one issue.
go ahead.
My name is Stanley Wilk. I'm the owner of 2242 Locust. My property shares the applicant's premises, the same property line involved with the requested deck relief. I respectfully request no curb cut, road opening permits off Locust Ed to be issued by the town highway department, which would mitigate this odd, it's an odd shaped piece of
Is
property.
there presently a curb cut on Locust?
No,
Okay.
there is not.
Hey, before you even go any further, ma'am, are you willing to agree there'll be no curb cut on Locust? Okay, there you go.
And my comment being also no vehicular traffic being, with no curb cut also, that would deny vehicle traffic into this appendage that sticks out of the property.
Well, if there's no curb cut, you can't legally
Okay,
enter.
okay, well, you're the expert.
No, I'm just explaining to
okay,
you.
No,
No.
yeah, no, I hear you.
We're all working
And
together here.
this action just improves the quality of my side yard.
Okay, thank you so much. Sir, okay, your name and address for the record, please.
2238 Locust Avenue.
And your name?
Robert Wilk, W-I-L-K.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Go ahead, what can I do?
Both of our properties abut the southerly side of this. My brother addressed the concern with that. There was many concerns we had with this property, but I noted it was a previously approved application, and We really want there's a sale on the property currently in place, and we would love for that to happen because it's never been a friendly situation between the two people. The only thing we could possibly say is maybe some shrubs and bushes to try to mitigate some of this deck that's a disaster, sticking up over both our properties.
When you say sticking up over both of your properties, explain.
It's 3 feet high.
The deck is well over 3 feet above the grade. The railings are visible from over a 6-foot fence. When people stand there, there's no privacy on either side. It's not that there's us looking at them or them looking at us. It's almost impossible for it not to happen at that point.
And
it's very close to the property line. I mean, it's just the way it is.
it's
The way it
4
was built, and it should never been built that way.
instead of 10 feet.
Yeah, it was a bad situation.
When people are on the pool deck, you say they can look down into your property?
Oh, 100%.
So I'm a little.
And we could see them also.
My question though is, you said in the beginning that you want the sale to go, but you're not happy with the height of the deck? Is that what it is? Because
No, the deck is there. I mean, we know that the deck was built for a specific reason at the time because of the family there was one of the family members that had health problems. We understood that 100%. We don't have any
You
real
just want a
issues
little
with-
screening, right?
Yeah, we don't really have any issues with the deck. The deck is the deck. The people that are buying
Hang
it.
on 1 second. What's the width of the deck on the southerly side? Maybe they can cut it back a little. Nobody wants to have people standing on a deck looking right into your backyard.
I don't see that as a problem that right now. I think the screenings, even though I've spoken to the purchaser that's purchasing it, and they want to address it with us, both of us also to make it better. You know,
Okay.
We can't force them
some
to-
screenings would be.
We can't force them to put screenings and bushes in. No, that's
Okay.
that's the issue.
Oh, that's all I
So
asked.
we can tell them to cut it back? We can deny their application?
I don't-
And it would delay whatever you want?
No,
or-
I don't want to do that. I definitely don't want to do that. I don't, that's undue hardship on their end, which I don't think that would be
Okay.
fair.
We've heard you.
But the curb cut also, it's a very odd lot.
Curb
There'll
cut
be
you
no
already
curb
got. Quit while you're ahead.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, back to you.
Nah, it's you. You finish it.
Okay, anyone else wish to be heard? Ma'am, you come back up. You heard what they had to say about screening, right?
Yes,
Okay, so you're gonna put up some screening, maybe another 3 feet high, right? You have a rail on the deck?
yeah, the deck stands taller.
I don't care how high is the rail from the deck? 3 feet, 4 feet,
36 inches.
3 feet. Okay, so we're gonna ask you to put up some screening for another 3 feet, okay?
Yeah,
I'm
this
sorry,
is
I'm
my brother, sorry.
Name and address for the record.
Edward Walsh, 828 Conner Street.
Okay,
If I put arborvitae's or green giants,
you're gonna have something that extends 3 feet higher,
green giants will go 15 feet high.
but it has to be straight across, right?
Yeah, I could put
All
green
right,
giants right in
good,
the
done.
back.
We'll take you at your word. We'll include it as a condition
They
in
can
the
be as
decision.
high as they can grow.
They will grow 40 feet.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Only the decks, the
Sir,
back of the deck,
correct.
right?
we're good.
Okay. So
All right. Anyone else wish to be heard? Any other questions from the board? There being none. Mr. Sullivan, I'll entertain a motion. All right, thank you. And is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Application granted. Everyone have a good night. Thank you for coming out. All right, Mr. Chairman, our next application is number 480-22, Adrian Velasquez. Permission to leave 3 awnings, 4 feet by 21 feet and 10 feet by 20 feet and 4 feet by 26 feet, resulting in a floor area ratio of 30% instead of permitted 25%, and to leave pool patio on rear property line, not having required setback of 6 feet, Residence B District, south side of Danbury Street, number 80, 100 feet east of Saxon Avenue, Bay Shore, New York. Ma'am, sir, your names and addresses for the record, please.
Adrian Velasquez, 80 Danbury Street, Bay Shore, New York, 11706.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Stephen Brower, 80 Danbury Street, Bay Shore, New York.
Thank you, Mr.
Brower.
Mr. Chairman, the floor is yours.
Good evening. Thank you, sir. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good. You have 3 small awnings that it's resulting in floor area ratio of 30. We see up to 30 from 25 every week here at the zoning board. Pool patio and rear property line not having required setback of 6 feet. Pavers.
They're beautiful pavers, by the way.
Excuse me?
They're beautiful pavers, by the way.
I'm sure they are. They're pervious, right? They drain?
Absolutely.
All right. Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Nicole, I'll take a motion.
Motion to grant the application.
All in favor?
Aye.
Application granted. Have a good night.
Thank
Next
you. Thank you
application
very
is-
much.
Next application, Mr. Chairman, 481-22, Tyler Neveldine, and Cassidy Stewart. Permission to erect a second-story addition, leaving a front yard 27.75 feet instead of the required 40 feet, and side yard of 12.7 feet instead of the required 18 feet. Residence Double A District, south side of Brady Street, number 120, 388.42 feet west of Snedeker Avenue, Bayport, New York. Sir, your name and address for the record, please.
Yep. Tyler Neveldine, 120 Grady Street, Bayport, New York, 11705.
How are you tonight, sir?
Doing well.
So your house holds 33.7 according to the survey, front yard now. You're looking for 27.75. Is that correct?
Yes.
We have our planning representative left a memorandum. So there is there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 precedent in the area having closer than what you're asking for front yard. Yep. So it seems like you're all right. Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Application granted. Have a good night.
Next application, number 482-22, James Giardina. Permission to leave pool patio having side yard of 2 feet instead of required 6 feet, to leave gravel area on side property line, not having a required setback of 4 feet, and to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Islington Code Section 68602, Residence A District, east side of Elm Avenue, number 2283, 100 feet south of Bake Street, through lot to Rayner Street, Ronkonkoma, New York. Sir, your name and address for the record, please.
James P. Giardina, 2283 Elm Avenue, Ronkonkoma.
How are you tonight?
Good, thank you.
Pool patio 2 instead of 6. Seems that we see that a lot on the side. Gravel area, side property line 4. Planning representative has a precedent in the area for that. Everything's in order, Mayor, for the apartment,
It is, the apartment is small, it's 500,
39 square feet.
Yeah.
Driveway's approved.
driveway's approved.
Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion. Up here, 3 years. All in favor?
Aye.
Application granted, see you in 3 years.
Thank you.
Next application was previously adjourned from May 10th, 2022. Number 325-22, Eric and Donna Josephson. Permission to leave shed having 1 foot behind front line of dwelling, and to leave shed having 7 feet behind front line of dwelling instead of required 20 feet each. Residence B, 278 Cluster District, east side of Burley Drive, number 19, 214.28 feet west of Singingwood Drive, Holbrook, New York. Sir, your name and address for the record, please.
Eric Josephson, 19 Burley Drive, Holbrook, New York.
How are you tonight, sir?
Excellent, thanks for asking. How are you?
Great, thanks. You're adjourned from May. Would you like to fill us in of why you adjourned? You just
Yeah, I travel for a living,
Oh,
so
great.
last minute I have to go on a trip.
We just see a lot of people. I didn't know if we spoke to you about it.
No,
We had to adjourn or
no,
something.
first time here.
All right, good.
I even brought pictures just in case. I'm very prepared.
All right. So you have sheds that are a little too close to the front line of the dwelling. How long have they been there?
So we had a pool put in last year that opened up Pandora's box, and all these issues popped up. So essentially, it's behind the fence. You know, it sounds like it's really close, but it's behind the fence. I have pictures if you want to see it.
You can hand the pictures up if you like.
Sure.
For the record, the issue that we have as a board is that the town board enacted a code stating
There's a
that
couple of copies.
sheds, frame sheds have to be, it went from 10 feet behind the front line of dwelling to 20 feet behind the front line of dwelling.
Right.
And you're 1 and 7.
If you look at the pictures, so first, I was not aware of any rules about that. You know, the only thing I knew from experience is this 4 foot from the property line. That's the only thing I knew. So if you look on page 3, that's the shed. It's right behind the fence.
Yeah, so they seem like they're, I'm not trying to downgrade the sheds, but plastic sheds?
Yes, they are. Yeah, prefabs, right.
He has no respect for plastic sheds. None
And
whatsoever.
so I also had some questions in pergolas, there's some arrows there that if we get to, we get to it, but the sheds, all my neighbors are, are good with, I mean, it's not an eyesore, I know what you're looking at, but it's behind the fence. They're nice fences, I mean, I got them from Home Depot, one of these.
And the unfortunate part is we don't have any precedent in the area to approve sheds that close.
So why didn't you put it in the back corner?
It would have been too close to the pool.
Looks like you got a lot of room between the pool and the back corner.
That's a panoramic view. There's about 6 feet and it has to be 4 foot off the property line.
We'll give you relief there. We can let you put it,
And by the dog, by the way, you could put the dog as close to the fence as you
yeah, it looks pretty
That was
close.
for reference, so you can see how close it was.
We could let you put the shed 6 inches from the property line in the back.
That was, I was always told 4 foot and that was the
Well,
issue.
we can tell you otherwise.
I know,
We like
but-
that.
But at this point, I had, I put a concrete foundation.
Okay, you don't want to move, is what you're telling us. Okay.
So, the one thing I will say, though, Mr. Wexler, is that this is a cluster subdivision. So,
I see that.
by necessity, he's going to come up short somewhere in some way. And if this doesn't offend any visual line of sight or any other concept that I can think of, I'm not opposed to it necessarily.
I'm not opposed to it either. I just looking for alternatives.
I tried everything
As was
and, if you look, I'm 5 foot off the fence line. I mean, I was aware of that. And again, I was not aware of all these rules, just like
When
the.
you travel outside Islip, you don't get to learn the rules.
I
See, our chairman never leaves the town ever, so he knows all.
And I ask everybody with a shed, and nobody seems to know about the front from the street rule. I
I
mean,
gotta be
everybody knows
honest,
the 4 foot from the fence rule, but
I think you have 2 of the board members saying they're not offended by it. Let me see if anyone else wishes to be heard this
All
application.
you need is one more and you're golden.
Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? What are you doing down there? Does the board have any further questions? Mr. Messina, I'll take a motion.
Motion to grant.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Application granted.
thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Next application is number 483-22, L.I. Deal House, Inc. Permission to leave one-story addition having a side yard of 15.2 feet instead of the required 18 feet. Total side yards of 32.7 feet instead of the required 36 feet. And to leave shed not having 20 feet behind the front line of the dwelling, again. Residence AA District, east side of Heckscher Avenue, number 1711, 124 feet north of Locust Avenue, West Islip, New York. Sir, your name and address for the record.
Pedro Velez, 7 Tide Mill Road, St. James.
Thank you. Sometimes timing is everything, huh?
I'm going to move the shed, by the way.
The trouble is, it's selling the property. Yeah.
I'm going to move the shed.
You gonna move it?
Yeah.
All right. There we go. And then you have an extent, one-story addition. It's in line with the house. Other than a little bump out, actually, a tiny
Yeah,
little small bump out.
there's a 2.5 foot bump out.
All right. Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Wexler, I'll take a motion.
Can you repeat that, please?
You're moving the shed. So
Oh,
you denied
okay.
the shed part.
And you got the other part, the important part we gave.
Next application, number 484-22, Christopher and Susan Stavrakos, Permission to leave above-ground pool having side yard of 5.6 feet and rear yard of 4.5 feet instead of the required 14 feet each, and to leave jacuzzi having rear yard of 12.7 feet instead of the required 14 feet, Residence A District, south side of Seabreeze Lane, number 4, 83.41 feet west of Snedeker Avenue, West Islip, New York. Sir, your name and address for the record.
Christopher Stavrakos, 4 Seabreeze Lane, West Islip.
How are you tonight, sir?
Good.
So the hot tub, seems de minimis. You hear them a lot. Pool, how long has the pool been up?
29 years.
29 years, and it's not leaking at anything, huh?
Well, it's the third one of the same size. They last
Not a
between
single
10
one has been legal, huh?
Wasn't aware that above-ground pool needed a permit. I said, what, 29 years ago, was not aware that an above-ground pool needed a permit.
So just as a general guide going forward in life, any place where water meets electricity, you're gonna need a permit.
Got it.
All right. Rule of thumb. No charge.
So with above ground pools, we do something, we always say something called life of the pool. So if you have to fix it and change it again, for the fourth time, it's gotta be moved into the proper plumbing of it.
Okay.
As long as it's not, it stays the exact same pool, the exact same wall, and the exact same post.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question? Would you survey, is that your shed on the next door neighbor's property?
The one north of the pool? The little shed? No, actually, the fence line is 3.5 feet inside my property. The fence company installed the fence incorrectly.
No, it's not the fence. We're looking at the survey. And the survey shows the property line. And
Are you talking about the neighbor's shed?
That's the shed.
that's the neighbor.
That's the neighbor's shed. There's a fence.
Why did you, well, you don't know why the surveyor put shed.
One second. There's a small shed, like,
Hang on. Mr. Wexler, I think Ms. Pissarro has your answer.
So a lot of times when a surveyor prepares a survey, they must indicate all structures within 15 feet of the property lines.
Wow, I've never seen.
I learned that when I used to order surveys.
Really?
Yeah.
How come most, almost all never?
That's why I love
Because there's
serving.
no, because they'll indicate the outline of it, maybe only the part that's nearest to the property line, but this is a little unusual in that the surveyor indicates the entire shed.
Wow, you see the doors off?
yes.
But it's all good, it's all good.
Okay.
Our sixth board member explained.
And I love
Thank
serving
you.
on this board because I learn something every week.
We all learn something just because you do tonight.
Always because of
Anyone heard this
Ms.
application?
Pissarro.
Does the board have any questions? Just a question, I'll take a vote.
I'll make a motion to grant the application for the light.
All in favor?
All right.
Application carries.
Next application
Thank
number
you.
485-22, Alana Fisher and Christopher Wynn, permission to leave roofed over entry platform having front yard of 15 feet instead of required 25 feet. To leave driveway having a side yard of 1.3 feet instead of required 4 feet. Front yard occupancy of 41% instead of permitted 35%. Resident feet district north side of Union Boulevard, number 2657, 365.37 feet east of Watson Place, Islip, New York. Sir, your name and address for the record, please.
Chris Wynn, 2657 Union Boulevard, Islip.
How are you tonight?
Good, how are you?
So you have a roofed over entry, little portico. Built on the front of your house, it's approaching a bit. Would you agree never to be enclosed?
Yeah, this was all, everything we're discussing tonight was done prior to us even purchasing the house.
You agree never to enclose it?
Correct. Yeah,
So you can say-
yep.
And then we have a driveway on the side property, close to the side property line, but it's a very long lot, 200 and almost 50 feet deep.
Mhm.
So that is right there. What else do we have? 1% you're over, we give it to 40.
Take out the brick, make it 40%.
I could do my best. Like I said, I didn't do the work.
I'm fine with 41. I have no issue with 41.
It's a very small one. Big way the house is. It's not like a setback. If you had the whole front page, I would say. Good. Then we're spared this application. Does the board have any questions? Mr. Wexler, I'll take a motion.
Chairman, I'll make a motion to grant the application.
Thank you.
Next application number 486-22, Edward and Francis Ginley, permission to leave a one-story addition 12 feet by 32.2 feet and having a side yard of 9 feet instead of the required 14 feet and floor area ratio of 30.51% instead of permitted 25%. To leave shed having side yard of 0.9 feet instead of the required 2 feet, and 10.5 feet behind front line of dwelling instead of the required 20 feet. To leave shed with roof over, having a rear yard of 1.6 feet instead of required 2 feet, and leave 4-foot fence in driveway site triangle instead of maximum height of 3 feet, Residence B District, north side of Edmore Lane, number 42, 60 feet west of Everdale Avenue, West Islip, New York. Sir, your name and address for the record, please.
Larry Buscemi for Select Permits, P.O. Box 679, Mount Sinai, New York. I'm well. How are you guys tonight? I am in possession of the interoffice memorandum from the Planning Department, and we concur with the conclusions in that memorandum. I just want to note that the fences on the east and west side of the property do not belong to this homeowner, so therefore he has no control over them. One belongs to the state of New York and one belongs to his neighbor. Now they're on the border. They're dead square on the border. Yes, one belongs to the school district, although we think it belongs actually to the state because it goes all the way down to Mount. Right. That is ours. The one that runs along the street is ours and will be moved to conform or cut down. Well, I mean, the front part of both those fences, they come down to the street and they're not within our control. So in essence, those are also in the site triangle. But there is a fence that runs, as you can see, runs along Edmore Lane, and that is the homeowner's fence and will be moved or cut down to conform. Yeah, the problem with that is that the school district's fence is exactly on the, in some parts of it. So but what do we do in the instance, as in this case, where it's dead square right on the border, right on dead square on the border? Right. That's geometry in a two-dimensional plane. We live in a three-dimensional plane, so that doesn't really. Well, I'll note. Looking at the survey, the fence to the east is actually 0.4 of a foot to the east, so is therefore in the next door neighbor's property. If you look at where it says. Well, again, you have the issue of the stockade fence belonging to the school district, which is exactly on the border. Does he cut down the school district's fence? It's also on the school district's property. Yeah, but it's outside of our control. Right. That one we're going to move or cut down to conform. Absolutely. Right. Right. Without a doubt. Okay. In that case, we're cool. All right. Right. I'm more concerned about the school district fence, which is dead square in the. Okay. Okay. We do, and we have, according to the memorandum, we have precedent for that. I'm sorry, couldn't hear what you talking about, the shed? It's prior to code. Yeah. Thank you. Didn't mean to complicate it. Have a good night.
Okay now? Permission to leave detached garage having rear yard of 3.5 feet instead of required 4 feet, and to leave driveway on side property line not having required setback of 4 feet, Residence B District, north side of East Lindbergh Street, number 201, 115 feet east of Belmore Avenue, Islip Terrace, New York. Ma'am, sir, your names and addresses for the record, please.
John and Deborah Ladani, 201 East Lindbrook Street, Islip Terrace, New York.
Okay, just pull the microphone a little toward you, please, and speak into it. We got it.
Oh.
Sir?
John Ladani, 201 Limbrook Street,
635.
Islip Terrace.
How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Good, yeah, the detached garage a little too close. Looks like it's a little shifted on the property line. One corner, driveway inside property line, not have required 4-foot setback. See that a lot, it's concrete. Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Wexler? I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Have a
Next
nice day.
application number 48-22, Antonio Del Valle and Daniela Bobo. Permission to leave cellar entrance having a side yard of 4 feet instead of the required 14 feet. Residence B District, north side of West Elmore Street, number 285, 180.56 feet west of Carlton Avenue, Central Islip, New York. Sir, gentlemen, excuse me, your names and addresses for the record, please.
Good evening, Board. Jacob Turner of Heilig Brannigan, 4250 Veterans Memorial Highway, Suite 111 East Holbrook, New York, representing the applicant, Antonio Del Valle, and also we have the other co-owner, Daniela Bobo, here as well.
How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Do you have a cellar entrance?
We do, and just so the board's aware, with this matter, the current homeowners purchased a home in 2019. The seller's agent was actually the one who precipitated the town investigating this matter right before closing. And of course, the applicants purchased the property not realizing that the seller entrance was not valid. They have received summons for them, for which they are currently in 5th District Court. And as part of legalizing that, that is why they are here. However, to be clear, they had certainly no idea that the seller entrance was illegal, nor did they put the seller entrance in. That is a dentist's office for which, I'm sorry? Correct. I'm sorry. Yes, correct. We will. Correct. Thank you.
Next application number 489-22, Kevin Dowd, permission to leave detached garage 24.3 feet by 24.3 feet, having a side yard of 7.5 feet instead of the required 10 feet. Residence AA District, east side of Locust Avenue, number 549, 660 feet south of Island Boulevard, Oakdale, New York. Welcome back. Your name and address for the record, please.
Same appearance. I represent Mr. Dowd. I do have with me the architect, Mr. Ang. And for the record, I do have a signed letter from the neighbor on this case and an appraisal report that I'd like to hand up to the board.
Yeah, man, that's a lot of pressure. Mr. Ang never loses an application when he's here.
And just so the
Pressure's
board,
on you to keep the streak alive, sir.
just so the board's aware, in this case, Mr. Ang did design the garage. A permit was issued. However, when the garage was built, they went off the fence, not off the property line. And they thought they were even being more safe and went an extra foot. Lo and behold, survey review with the town, and it comes up 7.5 feet. As the board will see, I handed up a letter from the most impacted neighbor at 555. He has no problem with the garage where it is. In addition, I handed up an appraisal report indicating that this has no effect. In fact, it has a positive effect on the property values.
Wait, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the appraisal and purpose of this deed.
That this will actually, if the board were to grant this, this will actually have a positive effect for the property value in and of itself and for the surrounding areas.
Is that important for us?
That's one of the factors, actually.
That it would improve the value of it?
Sure. With the impact on the,
Yeah. Impact, but I thought it was the surrounding area.
And it says that in the second to last sentence
So
of
they're
that.
saying by then, the applicant installing this entranceway.
No,
Detached
garage.
Or the garage.
I'm on a second page there.
So, that's right. So the applicant on this property installs a garage and is going to increase the surrounding neighborhood's value of their homes?
Correct. And as you will see in the
Who
second,
wrote this? I can't get it.
if you look at the second page of that, you will see the,
yeah, just stop while you're ahead.
Stop.
Mr. Wexler, as you like to say when you're on the bench, you'll take it for what it's worth.
I'll take it for its worth. Hang on, this thing has millimeters. That's not what.
I will note for the board
Wait,
that
wait.
Counselor, you're in quicksand.
Yeah, whoever heard that somebody built on their property an offending garage and that makes everybody's house around them more valuable?
Well, it does, because then they could all build offending structures as well, right?
I never heard that. I never heard that line.
So the value point is this garage is 88 square feet smaller.
Well, and not only that, it's de minimis.
Yes, the minute. That's your argument. The minute.
that's what I was going to lead with.
Mr. Angus smile.
Mr. Ang looks handsome tonight standing there.
Mr. Ang, if I may. Mr. Ang, have you ever heard of somebody built a garage?
Oh,
that
jeez.
offends the code?
He's not an appraiser.
We've got 3 more pages.
Objection.
No, go back to the. Thank you. I rest my case. That's okay.
Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any further questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take the motion. All in favor?
Aye. All right, next application is number 490-22. Maria A. Cordova Brito. Permission to leave enclosed second-story deck having side yard of 13 feet instead of the required 14 feet, resulting in floor area ratio of 30.8% instead of permitted 25%. To leave patios on side property lines not having required setback of 4 feet each, and to establish accessory apartment permit pursuant to Isle Town Code, Section 68602, Residence B District, north side of Juniper Street, number 71, 100 feet west of Boulevard Avenue, Central Islip, New York. Sir, your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Robert Ramirez, 990 Motor Parkway, Central Islip, New York, and the agent representing Mrs. Maria Cordova.
Who will note for the record is standing beside you. Good evening, man.
Good evening.
How are you tonight?
Very good, no complaints, this guy, we're still here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good way to look at it.
Okay.
We seek permission to decline for an enclosed second-story deck, side yard 13, instead of 14, de minimis floor ratio 30.8 to 25. We see up to 30, so you pointed over. We'll discuss that in a second. Patios on side property lines not reach 4 feet. That seems de minimis too. And for
Established.
accessory apartment,
Yes.
so that's current code. 775 square feet driveway complies, everything seems to be in order, correct, Matt?
Yes, everything's in order with the apartment.
So we see at the 30 is 30.8, is everyone good with 30.8?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is there no wish to be heard in this application?
No.
Does the board have any questions? Mr. Nicole, I'll take a motion. Okay,
Aye.
application granted, have a great night.
Thank you
Next
so much.
application number
Good
four
night.
ninety-one twenty-two, 145 Ocean Roadway Holding Corporation. Permission to erect two-story dwelling on a lot having a width of 50 feet instead of the required 60 feet, and an area of 5,000 feet instead of the required 6,000 square feet, and to erect stairs having side yard of 1 foot instead of the required 4 feet. Residence BAA District, southwest corner of Frigate Road, number 145, in Surf Walk, Cornell Estates, New York. Is there anyone here for the applicant? Second call, please, Mr. Chairman.
Call, sir.
Thank you very much. Next application number 492-22, Robert W. Halverson Jr. and Lauren A. Halverson. Permission to store a recreational vehicle in excess of 25 feet in length and located in the corner front yard, Residence AA District, northeast corner of Wood Hollow Road, number 254, New Street, Great River, New York. Sir, your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Robert Halverson, 254 Wood Hollow Road, Great River.
How are you tonight, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
So you have a recreational vehicle. Sorry.
Area.
So we have a planning, our planner is not here tonight. She did write a memo stating, with regards to proposed storage of recreational vehicles in excess 25 feet in length and located in the corner front yard. We saw it's unprecedented. This is a newer part of a code to help screen recreational RVs and similar vehicles from view. Ideally, the vehicle could be placed behind the house in the rear yard where it is permitted.
So I was here last year. I have a corner property, so I really don't have any backyard. It makes it challenging whenever I did. I was here for a variance for the pool setback. Same challenge. I don't really have much space to work with. So if you look at my property, my backyard really consists of that eastern corner of the house going east. And then if you look on the Wood Hollow side, if you look at the northwest corner of the house, and then if you take that, shoot that all the way to the north. Anyway, the trailer is 28 feet, and there's really nowhere else to put it. If I put it on the Wood Hollow side, on that, excuse me, that northwest section, I feel like that would be like a terrible aesthetics for the road. Where it is now, I feel like it's neat. Mhm. I understand. I understand that I asked for the leniency because of the situation of my property. I got to.
sure the applicant utilizes it multiple times a year, and it's not there all the time.
But that's nothing that the town board didn't know when they passed this ordinance,
That's why
that these things were mobile.
I would like to reserve and discuss it.
Yeah, no, I think that's the right thing to do on a case of first impression anyway, by all means.
Well, yeah, I just purchased it, pretty much right after I closed on the house.
Which was when?
December, I'm sorry, January 2021.
What year?
2021.
Okay, so a year ago, 18 months you've had it.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, I have to recuse myself.
Yeah, so the summons, code enforcement officer was called in because somebody was claiming they could not see the stop sign, which is obviously not the case.
One's got nothing to do with the other. I don't care. It's up to you. Do whatever you do. We should reserve it.
It wasn't filed as a
We're gonna have to grant it to everybody else, because your neighbor comes in across the street next to you and says, I want that. Get this gentleman, how do you say no?
Well, I try to use a little bit of reason and logic with my situation. I'm on a corner property. It's not an ideal property. There are, again, I'm not going to be the one to call on people, but there are a lot of people that put trailers, boat trailers, RVs in their front, but I'm burdened with the corner property. And that's why I asked for some leniency with that.
So let me ask you something. If the pool wasn't there, you could put it in the backyard, right?
I would not. It would.
I'm not
be
asking if you would. I'm saying you could.
Well, there's a cesspool back there. I would not. It would not be ideal. I'd prefer to keep it by my driveway where there's no utilities.
So you can couch it 15 ways. You could. You may not want to. You may decide not to, but you could.
Could you? I'd have to cut down a lot of trees. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could do anything.
Okay, thank you.
So I explored that route, and it looked like that's okay. Okay. Yeah.
Point as usual. We would have to, if you want to pursue the non-conforming route, non-conforming use route, we would have to re-advertise and come back because we haven't advertised for that in this hearing. But
Now, may I ask a question? If it was 25 feet or less, it could be parked there? Because I would.
less than 25, maybe. don't
'Cause
know.
I was
I'd have to
not
look at the
really
code
sure.
provision.
I don't think so.
What does the code say about that situation?
It says, storage of recreational vehicle, RV, that is in excess of 25 feet in length is restricted to the rear yard or through lot front yard and shall be set back a minimum of 4 feet from all property.
So if you had 24 feet,
Yeah, but it's behind the roof front line of the dwelling.
can trade it in and get something smaller?
I have 4 kids.
I think we should reserve.
God bless you.
I agree.
Well, let's hear what the public has to say.
Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Come on up, sir. Sir, if you can slide to the side and let someone speak.
I have a few pictures. Would I be able to let you see them?
You have to-
In your iPad, you don't want to keep that iPad, do you? You'd have to.
No,
click it
I mean,
out.
you could scroll through them.
No.
Okay. They're just pictures. So I live across the
Name
street,
and address for the record.
James Francis Rooney Jr., 32 New Street. I live, I do not have an RV, I have a boat. I have what's that? ROONUI. I live across the street on a diagonal. My property line is probably roughly 50 foot from the camper itself. Originally, there was no fences and he had the RV on his driveway, and then he moved it 10 foot over on a pad with gravel. And so when I'm in my house, when I look at my living room window, I can see it. When I look at my den window, I can see it. When I look out the window from my master bedroom, I can see it. But the person who lives there, when he looks out his front window, he doesn't see it. When he looks out his rear window, he doesn't see it. When he's out of his master bedroom, he doesn't see it. When he's in his pool, he doesn't see it. He put it in the one spot where he doesn't see it. Now, he has a half acre of zoning. He has half acre there. He has probably 20 spots where he could actually keep it. You know, he could put it behind his house. It would be a tight squeeze. I was looking, it's fine. It's roughly 10 foot from the road. That's why I wanted to show you the pictures. On the other side of his house where his pool is, he could store it in 10 different spots and it would be totally legal. But he doesn't want to. I mean, then you got to look at it when you're in your pool.
So, sir, just so you know, we're giving him an opportunity to submit pictures, photographs. I would urge you to print the photos you wanted to see us and get them into the office, okay?
What office would that be?
The Zoning Board of Appeals office, 40
Okay.
Nassau Street.
What is it?
40,
Okay, thank you. 40 Nassau. Appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. Okay. When are we reconvening?
we don't know if we're reconvening or not.
Okay, thank you.
And if we just accept the photographs and then make a decision, there is no further hearing.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Just reference this case number, which is.
You can get a copy of the agenda over here if you want to.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right.
Do you need photos now that?
You can print it out.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you might want to take advantage of Mr. Nicolia's suggestion, providing proof of when you purchased it and that it was in your driveway prior to the enactment of the code.
Okay. Yes, I do. Okay, and who would I contact to go? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, our next, I'm sorry. Just moving right along. Second. Aye. All right, our next application is number 493-22, Stephanie Scaduto, permission to leave shed having 8.5 feet behind the front line of the dwelling instead of the required 20 feet, and to leave hot tub having side yard of 4 feet instead of the required 14 feet, Residence A District, northwest corner of San Juan Drive, number 120 and Davis Street, Hopog, New York. Ma'am, your name and address for the record, please.
Stephanie Scaduto, 120 San Juan Drive, Hopog, New York.
Thank you.
You have a shed 8.5 instead of 20 feet. When was that shed erected?
I'm not exactly sure. I believe it was done during, we did it during COVID. So probably that June of 2020.
So they changed the code back in 2013 from 10 to 20. So it's after that?
Yes.
All right.
Is this visible on here? I can't tell. Is it in the shadow?
I sent other pictures in to the.
Do you have pictures? Oh, you sent pictures.
I sent them.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Please email.
How
I have-
much space between the back of the shed and the back fence?
It's maybe a foot and a half.
A foot and a half? Okay.
I don't have a problem.
Nope. Nope.
We had other work being done and
I don't have a problem with the shed. I was there when I'm with the shed.
Nope.
Hot tub, you know how I feel about hot tubs.
How do you feel about that?
I really don't think I want to know, Mr. Chairman.
Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? The board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, make a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Application granted.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Next application was previously adjourned from June 7th, 2022. It is number 417-22, Joseph D. Scalisi and Delwing M. McMaster with Life Estate for Joseph and Mary Carol Scalisi. Permission to erect a second-story addition, 2 feet by 12.9 feet by 20 and 22.5 feet by 40.3 feet, and roofed over porch, leaving a side yard of 4.73 feet instead of required 14 feet, second front yard of 14.9 feet instead of the required 15 feet, and floor area ratio of 30.54% instead of permitted 25%, Residence B District, northwest corner of Lombardi Boulevard, number 1422, and Oswego Drive, Bay Shore, New York. Mr. Bloor, evening, name and address for the record.
Good evening. Thomas Bloor, the architect for the project, 60 Carlton Avenue, Suite 202, Islip Terrace, New York, 11752.
How are you doing, sir?
Good. How are you guys? The intent of this application, again, is to construct a new second-story addition over the existing dwelling, as well as the roofed-over porch. I presented this application last month, and it was adjourned so I could do more investigation on the precedent I was referring to. I'd like to hand in some documents I foiled from the town highlighting the key aspects of that precedent.
By all Yep, that's part of what's being handed out.
So the
Thank you. I'm trying to understand the portion of the calendar, the roof over porch with the side of 4.73.
and the second floor. So that would be looking at the front of the house. The right side is an existing setback of 4 feet and change. And the precedent I had in question, the question came up.
Wait.
Go ahead.
These photos you handed up the right side, you're saying?
Oh, that's the precedent. That's the left side on the precedent.
Oh.
You handed us photographs.
Yes.
The first one is right now.
It's all, everything in that package is the precedent of the home directly behind my applicant's home.
I see, okay.
So I foiled everything I could get on it to really clarify the definition of the dormer, what happened with that house, what happened with the surrounding neighbors, how did they go about building their second floors and getting ZBA approval.
Let me ask you, rather than looking at photographs, we just saw a photograph that looked like it was 50 feet, and then the applicant said it's 60. So,
Yep.
we discount photographs. Can you give the precedent of 4.7?
Yes.
Okay.
And the more important point I'm trying to make is not only is it precedent, it's precedent of a home that was a one-story home.
So, Mr. Wexler, I'm sorry, if you look at the third to last page, I think he's produced a ZBA decision for 1423 Brooklyn Boulevard, that's at 4.6.
But how many are there in that area?
Well, there's more. If you look, there's 1, 2, 3 of them in here, I believe.
Deidre also did a memo, but
Two
for
of
some
them.
reason, this term dormer kept coming up. If you go around the area, Brooklyn Boulevard, Lombardi Boulevard, these are all the same home that was built originally. Some people put a half second floor on in the 80s and then came back to you guys and said, hey, I want to build the rest of my second floor. Now I have a 4-foot setback. So I wanted to really look into that term dormer, but this house behind it, that's a precedent, is the exact same house. It was built in I think I noted it on the second page, 1952 was the original one-story house with a 4-foot attic, nothing on the second floor. In 1984, it did the majority of the second floor, and then in 1987 came in front of this board for a 4-foot side yard and a 1-story rear addition with a 4-foot side yard, and the board granted it.
But the house that you pose is towering over the property line, 4.7. And we have, I see from the memorandum that we are looking at one precedent of 4.3. That doesn't make it as illegal, there's one.
And there's one of 5.
That's great. So you have how can we say that's one of the elements, this is the nature and character of the neighborhood? It's not, there's one.
I think the memo neglected to reference the case from 1987.
Oh, yeah, it's actually three then. The one I handed in is the third.
It is adjacent to the rear.
It's directly behind my client's house. So now you have three precedents from 4.3, 4.7, I think it is, 4.5, and I'm requesting an existing setback of 4.73, the same exact existing one-story house, the same exact, can I build a second floor on top of it?
Since you are holding on to and rightfully so, this memorandum, the rest of it, and this is bold, looks like, what is that, 10-point bold? FARB denied. Planning recommends that the special secretary side yard, FARB denied, FAR 30.
Right, in other words, there's a precedent for 31.8, I'm asking for 30.5 and change.
Doesn't the same memo that gives you what you want on one hand says no on the other? Doesn't it say denied FAR 30?
So his response is that the planning department got it half right.
Exactly right.
So you want the memo is half good, and the part that supports you, I love, and the part that says 30 is bad.
I think we're splitting hairs here. I get what you're saying, but I think we're splitting hairs.
But if we're gonna follow the memo, then we're not following the memo, then let's deny it.
No.
How can you say we're not following the memo, then let's deny it?
You're not letting me finish at all, please. All I'm saying is that the memo states what the precedent is because Deirdre's not here tonight. Right?
Yes.
He's got another precedent that he brought in with the one he said. So following the memo, you're calling him out on following the memo exactly to the T. He's just using it as an argument for his case.
But what's good for the goose is also good for the gander.
But it's 0.8, right? He's got.
0.8.
He's 30 point, what's he asking for?
No, I'm 30.5.
30.5, it's 0.5. He's got 31.8 in the area. He's got three side yards precedent right there. I'm okay with this application. I don't see where.
But is there precedent greater than 30%?
Yeah, it's 31.
31.8?
31.8, actually.
And what else is 30.5?
The rest was very de minimis. It was, I can read it to you if you want. It's just that second front yard, which was.
No, what's the FAR precedent?
The FAR precedent is 31.8. I'm asking for 30.54.
All right, I'm just wondering out loud then, why does Deidre deny the FAR?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Why doesn't make any sense? Yeah, I don't get that.
Isn't she giving you the answer that you usually say no higher than 30?
Yeah.
Isn't she
Exactly.
just trying to tell
She's
you what
trying
you,
to you do what we normally do.
I believe so.
She's afraid of.
Aren't we all, Mr. Wexler? You strike fear in the hearts of men.
He's really not. Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Nicoli, I'll take the motion. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
You too. Next application number 494-22, Teresa Stecker. Permission to erect a one-story addition 4 feet by 23 feet and second-story addition 16 feet by 34 feet, leaving side yard of 14 feet instead of required 18 feet. To leave driveway and patio on side property line, not having required setback of 4 feet each, to leave roof overhang, having side yard of 13.9 feet instead of required 18 feet, and to leave 2 sheds, having 7 feet and 8 feet behind the front line of the dwelling instead of the required 20 feet each. Residence AA District, west side of Ludlow Way, number 46, 792.83 feet south of Bayview Drive, Oakdale, New York. Sir, your name and address for the record, please.
James Apka from Todd O'Connell Architects, 1200 Veterans Highway, Suite 120, Hop, New York, 11788.
Welcome.
Thank you. How's everybody doing? We're here tonight to propose a first and second floor addition to an existing 2-story frame house. In doing that, we'd like to open up for master suite on the second floor and open up the first floor plan. In doing so, we're requesting relief from the minimum side yard setback of 18 feet. We will be building in line with the existing dwelling footprint, so we don't foresee any problem with that asking of relief. We are also here to ask permission to leave a driveway, which is said to be on the property line where 4 feet is required, with a continuation of the patio on the east side of the home, and also to leave 2 remaining sheds on the property, having less than 20 feet from behind this front line of the house.
Why can't the sheds comply?
The sheds were placed, as you heard, I'm sure tonight, without being announced with the 20-foot setback from behind the house. They have been, the one to the right side of the home has been placed for some time, and they are both behind behind a 6-foot vinyl fence.
My question was, why can't they comply?
They've been placed on a foundation to the right. The one on the left, I'm not sure of.
Streaming, it's all streaming.
We're requesting to leave them in
What
place,
the kids
as to
do.
move them would be, a task for the homeowner. Could they be moved? Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Board of any questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion. All in favor?
Aye. Next application, number 495-22, Thomas and Kathleen Orlando, permission to exceed compensating excavation provision 68442A3C by proposing 124 cubic yards of surplus fill in the floodplain. Residence B District, southwest corner of Fern Place, number 14, and Shore Drive, Oakdale, New York. Welcome back, Mr. Zapka. Name and address for the record, please.
James Zapka, 1200 Veterans Highway, Hauppauge, New York, 11780. Good. We're here tonight requesting relief to actually, for 124 cubic yards of fill. This house was actually in front of the board last year for other variances. Once we got through that process, it was found that it was unobtainable to actually put a sanitary system in the ground without placing a approximate 30-inch wall at the property, holding the required setbacks, and also to backfill the front property to install that septic system. So we are here tonight in front of the board requesting relief for that.
We've granted greater reliefs for Phil in the past. Does anyone wish to be heard on this application? The board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion. All in favor? Application carried.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Next application is number 496-22, Michael and Joanne Valentin. Permission to erect a one-story addition, 8 feet by 33.7 feet, leaving side yard of 11.8 feet, to erect a roofed-over porch, 8 feet by 43 feet, leaving side yard of 12.5 feet, to erect roof over 5 feet by 8 feet, leaving side yard of 6.8 feet instead of required 14 feet each, all having total side yards of 19.3 feet instead of required 28 feet, and floor area ratio of 29.6% instead of permitted 25%, to leave shed on side property line not having required setback of 2 feet, and to leave pavers on the side property line not having required 4 feet, and to renew a permit for family use only, Residence B District, west side of Waterview Avenue, number 6, 60 feet south of Parr Drive, through lot to Rosevale Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, your name and address for the record, please, and why are there 4 people at the table?
Tom Trufaro, DTT Designs, 1165 Broadway Avenue, Holbrook, New York, 11741. Sure, TRIFARO.
Next up, ladies first.
Joanne Valentine, 6 Waterview Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York, 11779.
Thank you. Young lady.
Jocelyn Castellanos, also Jocelyn Valentine, 6 Waterview Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York, 11779.
Thank you, sir.
Michael Valentine, 6 Waterview Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York, 11779.
First, let me start by apologizing for botching your name. It was relatively simple, and I still got it wrong. All right, let's start with the accessory apartment. Ms. Pissarro, is there anything here we need to know about that?
Yes, no, the family lives
Is
together.
your name Ms. Pissarro now?
Trifaro.
I said Ms. Pissarro.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, sorry.
You surprised me. That is close enough to
That
be
is
confused.
close. That is close.
Ms. Pissarro?
It just so happened that they filed their application for this addition to the house about the same time as the renewal was going to come due, so we asked if they'd like to combine them.
Yeah, okay, but there's nothing.
Nope.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, you want to take it from there? Oh, no, you're doing fine. All right. So let's go down. All right, go ahead.
Well,
sorry.
the reason why we're building the addition is just to increase the kitchen area and the dining room area. We're not adding any other bedrooms because everybody has enough bedrooms, and the bathrooms are fine. So we're just making a little bit more living space and more comfortable. The kitchen's very small in the house right now, and this is a very small dining room.
Okay, but you're asking for some significant relief, right? You're asking for 11.8 feet on one side, and you're asking for 6.8 feet on the other side when 14 is required, correct?
Correct. There's an overhang that we're asking to be covered. There's doors over there, so it's nice to have a little covered area. So it's a portico. It'll never be enclosed. There's just a couple of columns and just to protect you from the weather. Otherwise, we stayed in line with the home on both sides.
If we decide that it's that part of it. We'll see. That should be it, that will work out.
Any questions from the board at this time? No questions from the board. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? Sir, step right up, name and address for the record, please. You know the drill.
Joseph Smith, 6 Waterview Avenue, Ronkonkoma. I'm here only because I'm just looking for clarification, actually. 'Cause
Sure.
I know they said they're doing construction in the front and the back, which I was told, and I'm totally fine with. But after receiving the notice, they said that there's going to be some construction on the side, and I wasn't sure which side it was, whether, because I live on the south side. I don't know whether it's going to be on the south side.
Okay,
or
hang
the
on.
North side.
Sir, applicant's representative, why don't you show him, if you would, please, so that he,
Okay, you live on this
Let's
side? Everything's gonna be happening really right
Where's
here.
the front?
There's a
Okay,
little
that's water.
Front.
Yep.
So you see this little portico? It's gonna be on this side, facing this house. There's nothing gonna be done right here.
Okay,
at all.
that's all I wanted to know.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
all right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, Mr. Chairman, it's all yours in a nice neat package.
Is anyone else wish to be on this application? Does the board have any further questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion. Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Fish Rec, see you in 3 years.
Next application number 497-22, Miguel Valentin. This way time I'll get it right. Permission to erect attached garage having a height of 16.6 feet instead of the required 14 feet and gross floor area ratio gross floor area of 1,500 square feet exceeding the ground floor area of the dwelling, 989 square feet. Residence AA District, southeast corner of Locust Drive, number 182 and Pioneer Boulevard, Bay Shore, New York. Sir, your name and address again for the record, please.
Sure. Tom Trifaro, 1165 Broadway Avenue, Holbrook, New York, 11741.
Thank you. Sir, on the blue shirt, I was wondering why you were carrying bottles when I saw you come in. Now I get it. Go
My
ahead.
name's Oscar Valentin, 182 Locust Drive, Bay Shore, New York, 11706.
Next.
Miguel A. Valentin, 6 Waterview Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York, 11779.
Thank you. And the gentleman behind you, if you could, one more time, please.
Michael Valentine, 6 Waterview Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York, 11779.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, it's yours.
So you're seeking permission to erect a detached garage a little over the height and it exceeds the gross floor area of the main dwelling.
Yes. The reason why we're building the structure is they have a business, a beekeeping business, and they're going to be putting supplies in there. Also a vehicle too. They actually drive with like a trailer on it. That's why it's a little bit deep, so you can pull the whole trailer in, get out of the weather. Also, it's not the greatest or safest area, so they want it under lock and key so we could lock everything up. He's going to be putting a fence in, landscaping, so it's going to be kind of hard to see from the street, and also a gated area that he's going to lock at night as well. So it's going to be nicely. It's not going to be a multi-million-dollar business. It's more of a hobby to make some money to keep the gentleman busy.
It is just a hobby.
Yeah, it's a hobby. It's a hobby. No, it's a hobby. It's a hobby.
And actually, sir, what we're trying to do.
Go ahead, speak
We're
into the
trying to
mic.
teach the local beekeepers in the area on how to maintain the bees because we're having trouble losing a lot of colonies every year. We lose at least half of them. And a lot of people don't know this, but we've been trying to find out what's been going on. And my father is a master beekeeper. He's been finding out certain areas that need to be improved, and we want to teach people. So actually what we want to do is bring people in one at a time, trying to show them. We're going to have apiaries there. We already have bees there because we have a farm. There's a farm in our backyard. They all of them, okay? Which is what this is. Okay, this is local honey. No. I'm going to be the property owner. Okay.
He's two brothers. Yeah, I'll clear yourself. Okay, so what happens is my father's currently living with us. You heard my daughter just showed up. Right, but she's moving with my brother. My brother's going to actually help in taking care of my father as well as I. So the house is becoming bigger. The family's becoming bigger. We have grandkids. So my father's moving to 82 Locust Drive with my brother. We right now have the house under, we have had it rented legally through the town for over 22 years. And the people are actually they're moving out this coming month, I believe, next month. And we're currently trying to get the plans developed so we could have my father be there. But it's not only that, my father goes around the United States. Not only that, he's been to, Colombia, Puerto Rico, I know, I'm just saying, but it's important that we stress that there is a disease happening on Long Island, especially. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no. But right now, our concern's our backyard. Yeah. No. Yeah. Right here.
I own the property. I do.
Just the house part of the property in the front, right? I understand what you're saying, but the house is being, no, it's being cleared out, right? He is. Actually, we're gonna have the house. Yeah, it's gonna be both of them, actually. And my
Owner occupied.
owner occupied, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, owner occupied.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but we have
no other beekeepers in the area.
oh, the height? You know what? We didn't go around and check. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. How close is it? Yeah, sure, go ahead. Right. Not in that area, but it's 2 feet. I mean, it's that, and the reason it's going to be useful because when they do work on the vehicles, they have to jack it up. Well, if they are beekeepers and they work on the cars, of course, yeah, but yes. The farm, yes. Right. Well, there's a street. Yeah, to the north is a single-family dwelling. Right. Right behind the house. So if you look across the street, you'll never. Exactly. You will not see that. Thank you. Could you step over here? No. I'm sure you are. Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Behind the property, there's a farm,
It's an organic farm.
organ,
Yeah, they should.
organic farm.
Yeah.
They should.
That's their term.
Sure.
Currently, we only have approximately 10. Currently, we have approximately 10 colonies there. We usually normally have 24, but because they've been dying off, we've been having trouble maintaining them. So we have more in St. James that we want to relocate to this area, which is be beneficial to the farm, very beneficial. And
Well, a colony is one hive. Well, my father can explain that, but it's just one hive is considered one colony.
it's about this fall.
Yeah. So
About
it's
this fall.
yeah, it's basically so it's ran by a queen and its subjects, which are worker bees, and they have a drone, basically many drones to keep her happy.
One queen bee per hive.
Actually, can go up to 60,000 bees per hive. And depending on how many stories they are placed on top of the beehives. The basic beehive is 2 stories where the queen is and she lays the eggs and she gives the brood, the pollen, and the honey. From there on, we put boxes and they fill it up, that is surplus honey.
We've gone up as high as this tall, okay, but it has been bad. It has dropped drastically.
I should,
He doesn't even notice sometimes, so.
I should note that since '85, we have an invasion of a mite. It's called Varroa mite, and it's destroying the colonies. It's costing millions of dollars in the United States. It is.
How many times you get stung with a beehive?
I get stung sometimes 5, 10 times, 20, 25 times.
One day.
The body can only hold 240 stingers. Therefore, you can have a very serious allergic reaction after 240. You can die.
Well, we got stories.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, no problem. We understand.
Yes.
We just want to do everything the right way. And
Thank you.
sure, thank you so much for thinking about it. We just leave that there?
Yeah,
Signatures tried. Oh, come on, it's, well, you know, it's funny, because
Yeah.
we're police officers as well, so,
Yeah, all right.
okay, we got you, we understand, yeah. So, yeah. Thank you very much for your time, appreciate it, thank you.
$100 bill. Sure. Tom Trefaro, DTT Designs, 1165 Broadway Avenue, Holbrook, New York, 11741.
I'm Scott Lorenz, 116 Washington Avenue, West Havel, New York, 11796.
Well, how are you guys?
Sure. We're building a first and second floor addition at the rear of the house. And just to have a growing family right now, so we're just adding, adding to it. No, we're not modifying the accessory building. Yes, correct. It's just, yeah, they do have a nice vinyl fence there that wraps around, so it's protected from the neighbor. Yeah, it says 0, I believe, right?
Within the property.
It's within the property line. 0.3 inside the line, right?
Interior,
Interior. Is it? So that's 0.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. I mean, I would have to refer to the survey, but it is well within the property line by.
Well, it's not. They're saying it's not because it's 0.3 the other way, so it's on the property, the neighbor's property by 0.3. So if we take the siding off, we might be able to get away with it. Right.
Right, fair.
That's true, yeah.
Understood.
Of course. Of course, yeah, right. Yeah, so this is.
Yeah, that could be.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, good evening. Alexandra Giorgetti, 360 Route 109, West Babylon, New York, 11704, for owner applicant Catherine Hessel. Yes, Georgetti. Yep, absolutely. We are here before you to request that the already standing retaining wall along Oak Neck Creek in excess of 18 inches be permitted to remain. The current setback varies by less than a foot of approximately 7 inches from the required 4 feet, which is not substantial compared to the detrimental impact that would occur to the retention of the soil, which is needed as an engineered interface between the elevation changes should the wall need to be reconstructed, modified, or moved. Should the variance not be permitted, the owners would either have to cut down the wall in the areas where the setback is less than 4 feet or move the wall approximately 7 inches to meet the 4-foot setback. Either of these options would impose more of a hardship on the owners than it would pose risk of the land and the surrounding areas. The second retaining wall in the southwest corner of the property is adjacent to that of the southerly and westerly neighbors. The neighboring properties do have a significant amount of foliage of shrubs and hedges in excess of the height of the retaining wall, as their properties are lower than that of the owners here. Should the wall need to be moved, it will cause significant disturbance to the areas of the neighbors. The setback of this wall varies by less than 2 feet from the required 4-foot setback, which is again not substantial compared, yes. They were built. Yes, the engineer is here with me if need be. Yeah. Yes, they have reviewed it, yes. They asked me to submit this variance for these. The entire property? It's 1.24 acres? It's 1.24 acres. 1.24? Correct. Correct. It's the own, there's never been any fill added to the property. It's all of the dirt that's been on the property already. No fill has ever been added to the property. Correct. Not dirt, no. There has been stone and RCA for the driveway. And in constructing the driveway, the fill was pushed back into the backyard, which is where this cubic yards of fill comes into play. Correct. There's a significant amount of drainage system that was installed. Yes, in an effort to, yes, absolutely.
Matthew Elward. Okay, Matthew Elward with R&M Engineering. We have verbal approval. We were talking to Chris Polker. Sure. AYLWARD. Yes, we spoke with Chris Polker. We've been working with the engineering department. Yes, I have an email. I have an email with a marked up plan. Engineering accepted our design and said that they can't issue an approval until they have a decision by the zoning board for the walls that are there, as well as the fill material in the flood zone. Yeah. So essentially, when Mr. and Mrs. Hassel built the house, they installed the drainage system in the backyard. They also put in grade beams, pile caps. And what they did was when that material was excavated out, they pushed it over onto the Oak Creek side. Correct. No, I'm just trying to explain what it was. Yeah. Well, they had a permit for the house. What do you say? What do you mean with what we're doing? The material is there because it was excavated when they did the improvements that were permitted and just pushed it over into the floodplain area. No, they got the permit for the house. They got the permit for the driveways.
Yes. It's been almost 2 years now. They're Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it very much.
Good evening, Mitch Brendel, Integrity Expediting, address 2800 Middle Country Road, Lake Grove, New York, 11755. You're very welcome. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Doing well. How about yourself? Excellent. Yes, I would first like to propose an amendment to the application if possible. There was the initial item having the permission to leave a driveway having a side yard of 3 feet instead of required 4 feet. Upon an updated survey, which I have copies for the board, it's actually 3.4 rather than 3. I figured I'd start with something easy. And also to amend the application regarding the patio having a side yard of 1 foot instead of required 4 feet. That doesn't exist, so we can just remove that. No, the patio doesn't exist, and I discussed it with zoning, and they couldn't determine why they put that on the denial. All right, now that we have the hard items out of the way. If I could do one of these and, make that happen. A few things I would like to point out to the board regarding the front yard occupancy of the driveway. In number one, addressing that this driveway did exist prior to the current owner's ownership of the home. In 2018, they acquired this driveway in a similar condition, although it has been since restored, and the restoration didn't require a building permit, therefore zoning review and so forth wasn't part of the process when the driveway was being restored. Would also like to make it note, board, addressing that this is a legal 2-family home, and so the reason for the size of the driveway is to allow for, number one, access, because it's a circular driveway with 2 entrances, and as well as sufficient parking space for the vehicles for the 2-family home. Yes. That is one of the items on the list I was going to get to, is the location of the house in reference to the property. No, I appreciate the tee up there. Okay, understandable. Not at this moment. If there was the point to have, if we did come to the point where we needed to reevaluate and consider a different number, we would request an adjournment. Then we would have to request to adjourn and revisit a potential. I would have to discuss that with the homeowner, whether or not to confirm there are commercial vehicles. Perhaps at that time, what I would also if I may present to the board, I do have a few letters from the neighbors that are directly impacted by the location of the front yard, both. Sure. Understood. I do understand the board is accustomed to approve 40%. Is there, I've, understandable. Yeah, we weren't able to locate a precedent for that. Of course. Sure. We'll request adjournment.
Yes, my name's Elizabeth Winkler, and I live at 19 Rose Street, Winkler. Thank you. I have been a lifelong resident of Islip, and I've lived in my home for 45 years. My property is directly behind the driveway in question. I'm here to ask you not to grant any relaxation for any type of appeal on this property. 109 Avenue Holding Corporation acquired this property in the late summer of 2018. They immediately changed the configuration of the house without the required permits and in violation of the certificate of occupancy on the property. They had multiple renters in the main house and the garage. Despite my neighbors and myself filing multiple complaints, it was not until there was a no heat complaint by one of their illegal tenants that the code enforcement team was allowed on the property. 19 violations had been issued by early 2019. Subsequently, construction began again without proper building permits and continued after stop work orders were issued. Construction outside of town code hours is a frequent occurrence. Near the sidewalk on Islip Avenue, construction material with exposed pieces of metal, concrete, and bricks were dumped. The garage remains occupied in violation of the certificate of occupancy. If I could see this picture, I would show you better how the garage, which according to the certificate of occupancy is not for habitation, has been lived in since 2018. To this day. I can't quite, yes, I can move. Let me get back over here so everyone can hear me. Unfortunately, the homeowner or the corporation has not allowed an inspection of this property despite numerous complaints by myself and my neighbors who are also here this evening. Let me just get back to where I was here. Despite the obvious daily comings and goings, weekly garbage pickups, mail delivery, children walking to and from bus stops to attend Islip schools, 3 cars parked in the driveway behind my home. Code enforcement has been denied every time to get access to this property, to look inside to see how it is being habitated. A pool. Okay, Well, I was recently told by, yes, yes, I would very much. Thank you. I was recently told by code enforcement that unless they were actually caught sleeping or cooking, they couldn't confirm that anyone lived there. A pool was installed. A required inspection to ensure the safety of electricity and fencing was denied by the corporation. The driveway in question is inches from my backyard. I've had commercial construction vehicles, an RV, a U-Haul truck, a box truck, a mobile home, sitting months at a time parked directly next to my property in the past year alone. Yes, the box truck is white. It's no longer there because, I'm sorry, I apologize for my sarcasm, but this is not their first rodeo. This is not their first rodeo. The patio in question that the gentleman just said, oh, never mind about the patio, is actually used for multiple construction vehicles, etc. Okay, so, well, from what I was told yesterday when I called your office, I was told that the wireless, the address is over here, the house is up here, like that. I spoke to the little bit earlier.
Yeah. It's not truly a patio, it's gravel. It looks just like the driveway. Yes, may I finish? Thank you. On July 4th, the driveway was a staging ground to blast fireworks for over 3 hours, with embers and garbage falling onto my shed, into my landscaped property, and on my outdoor furniture, which prevented me from sitting in my yard on the 4th of July. In addition to the fireworks, deafening music emanating from an approximate 3-foot by 2-foot speaker mounted on a tripod and pointed at my home had become common. Every weekend, I am deprived of my right to peace and quiet. I have videos and pictures to substantiate that if you do need it. I have had garbage thrown in my yard. I've had a spotlight pointed at my house, illuminating my home and invading my right to privacy. I have had profanities screamed at me over my fence. I have had obscene gestures made at me. Yes, I understand. However, yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, and I do appreciate that. Town codes are set in place to ensure quality of life for all taxpaying homeowners and residents of Islip Town. Currently, 109 Avenue Holding Corporation has 4 open court cases citing violations going back to 2020. Rather than address the violations and follow town code procedures, the corporation continues to tie up the court, expending countless hours of work and taxpayer money to be spent on their insistence to not comply with town codes. I respectfully request that the committee review the history of violations and refusal for property inspection as a reason to deny this application. Thank you for your time. Thanks. Thanks.
Mr. Chairman.
Good evening. My name is Joe Covati, C-O-V-A-T-I. ATI, number 23 Rose Street, ISO 11751. I am a neighbor of the Winkers. I am just to the right of them, and my property abuts the property from 109 Holding Company. Their garage is directly behind my property. And as Mrs. Winkler said, you know, a lot of construction's gone over there over the years. That dwelling is not perimeter for occupancy. And I have a letter I was going to read, but I understand, you know, a lot of it's not relevant to the variances on hand right now. So, yes, absolutely. So there's no question about, you know, what she said is valid. Understood. So my concern with the granting of variance for the increased parking area is that I understand you have some photos of the box truck there. And Mrs. Winkler said that they park numerous commercial vehicles there. This would just lend itself to add additional parking for their businesses. So I just wanted to make that clear. Yeah, oh, yes. Yes. They live in the garage right behind my house. So, yes. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We would like to request an adjournment. Thank you. August 9th works. We will tackle away. Oh, that was close. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Maria Hickey, Victory Expediting, 606 Johnson Avenue, Suite 25, Bohemia, New York, 11716. I'm fine, thank you. No, no, none of that. You can go ahead. Yes. What was the question? Yes, understood. No, not enclosed, and it will never be enclosed. Awesome. Right, it will, we're working on that currently. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, we're gonna work on the driveway. We're getting on that now. Thank you for that. Maria Hickey, Victory Expediting, 606 Johnson Avenue, Suite 25, Bohemia, New York, 11716. I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, sure. That works, thank you. It's kind of late, so I'll let you go. Thank you so much. It's a good night, thank you. Have a nice evening.
Good evening, John Longo, 992 Church Street, Bohemia.
Daniel Gillen, 13 Eastover, Sable.
Thank you for having us back. As you said, we were adjourned from last time. Unfortunately, when we were discussing the side yard issue with the property owner's home, we didn't have the benefit of the aerial photographs at that time, which I believe you should now. We also submitted some supplemental photographs and maps that we had prepared to show the existing conditions, some of the neighboring properties' conditions, as well as what the applicant is seeking. We do not have a different proposition, sir. We have you were not able to see the aerial photography at the time when we were discussing. There was your power was down and you were not able to see. Right. We did not change the proposition. We just wish to be heard on the original application, which is an existing nonconformance of the home on the property. The application is to erect a second-story addition. Right. Right, but okay, excuse my terminology. An expansion of a non-conforming use, the home does not meet the code for the zoning that it's at right now because the home was built in 1946. It cannot meet that the way that the home was built in its current state. .5 feet would be the minimum building on top of the existing. It's approximately 30 feet from south to north on the west side of the home. Well, the home is not parallel to the property line. So at the back, it would be almost 10 feet. Correct. That's the issue with the home, is that the homeowner wishes to stay where he lives and expand his home to keep up with his family. Excuse me? So maybe can we become the precedent? We just wish to be heard. He has the smallest property on. Go ahead. Correct. I cannot point to an application case. No, I cannot. I can only point to what we see with our own eyes as we're in the neighborhood. I have not. No. We didn't have the ability to get this far into the conversation last time because you all didn't have the chance to see the actual physical arrangement of the home on the property. Nine Eastover. That's 9 Eastover, correct. And that would be the home that we would point to that exact question that you're asking me. Is that I just don't. I don't know. I know it's not conforming. I just don't know what it is. It's going to be more than ours. That's the issue. So if I told you that it was 10, it's still not 6.5. The only other opportunity for the homeowner to expand their property would be to grow to the back, therefore decreasing their, backyard by. That's understood, and that's why we're here. That's understood. That's why we came here to ask for leniency in the code. The opportunity to expand this property is very minimal. We have, given the age of the home, it's structurally going to be problematic to not build over the existing outside bearing walls, and that's why the request was made to build on top of the existing foundation. Right. It's hard because it's only a 60-foot wide property. So with a 36-foot aggregate, it's virtually, we're going to build 24 feet down the middle of the home. So we need a variance in any way, shape, or form that. That's understood. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. No, I have not. We have not. Right. I could offer this, even without the research, I can say that they're not any closer than 6.5 feet. So if the 6.5 feet is the breaker, right. I understand that. Appreciate your time this evening. Good night.
Good evening, James Jackson, President, 145 Ocean Roadway Holding Corp. Address is 166 Higbee Lane, West Islip, New York, 11795. I'd like to apologize to the board for missing the first call. I got stuck. No. Yeah, craziness. I'm assuming that the board has the letter from Deidre Ryan Planner, okay, endorsing the application. (2017). Thank you. Exactly what they said. Yes, thank you for your time.